Okay, in this part of the Pendulum clock escapement mechanism project, let's find the axles. There's 4 of them in this mechanism, and the job of each axle is the same. Each one allows some components to rotate about the axle. The claw rotates about this axle. The toothed wheel and the gear with 30 teeth behind it rotate about this axle. The gear with 60 teeth and the pulley mounted to the front of it rotates about this axle. And this pulley out here rotates about this axle. They're all built the same way with a threaded machine screw and a lock nut that is brought onto the machine screw close to the base plate, but leaving a little bit of a gap. That gap allows the axle and all the components on it to rotate freely. You'll want to keep that concept in mind as you assemble each axle. Ask the question, can it rotate freely? Good. Now let's clarify the notion that not all the screws in this assembly are trying to function as axles. Look at these 3 screws right here. If you click on one of them, you'll see that they're all called out as hex nut 832. Okay, it's a standard hex nut, not a lock nut, but what about the 832? Well, if I click on the machine screw, I can see that it's called out as a screw with a tapering head and also an 832. Take a look at the screw that we are using for the axles, and you'll see in Fusion it's called out as a 1/4-20. An 832 screw is much smaller. Find the thread gauge and take your 1/4-inch screw and try to fit it through the small holes, and you'll see that it won't fit until you work your way up to the 1/4-inch hole. Now take the helical threads of the screw and try to fit them into these saw-toothed configurations on the side of the thread gauge, and you'll see that they don't fit into the saw teeth at any spot except the 20 TPI, 20 threads per inch. Run the same procedure with the 832 screw, and you'll see that it doesn't fit until the number 8 hole, and that it only fits in the 32 TPI saw teeth, 32 threads per inch. And since this whole row of the organizer is the 832 row, then it's easy to find the 832 hex nut. And it's easy to tell that it's not a lock nut because it threads all the way onto the screw without locking. And while you could use the adjustable wrench to hang on to it, somebody else might be using it. And so consider using the socket wrench set. Just take your hex nut and find the socket that fits. In this case, it's the 11/32 socket. And then find the little socket wrench handle, which has a little square drive, which matches the little square in the other side of the socket. Get the square shaft in the square hole and you're ready to go. Good. Here's the reason we're using a standard hex nut and not a lock nut. A lock nut is really good at locking, and in the case of our axles, preserving spacing so that things can rotate freely. With these 2 parts, the pulley and the gear, we actually don't want any free rotation between the 2 parts. We want them to squish up against each other, creating enough friction that they stay mated to each other. And a standard hex nut is great at that. It allows us to tighten further and further and further until we sandwich these 2 components together. And so the locking comes from the components themselves, not a tiny little insert in the nut. Piece of cake, right? Why are we even talking about this? We're all grown-ups here and we can put a nut onto a screw. But when you get them all set up, ask yourself, do you have a strategy for how to proceed if you encounter a problem? Like this right here, the axle is not going through both components. It goes through the pulley, but then stops halfway through when it encounters the gear. And if I try to insert it on the other side, the same thing. It stops halfway through. Why? The problem was with the order of my assembly steps. I fully tightened those 3 832 screws too soon. Instead, I've got to loosen them back up and then insert the axle, which will force the alignment of the gear and the pulley, proving that everything can spin freely. At that point, I am good to tighten the 832 screws. And this time with a degree of caution about my work, I check that the axle can still rotate fully and even slide in and out as I tighten each screw. And as a final check, I pull the axle all the way out and insert it all the way back in to confirm that there are no snags in my system. If I rush this and try too soon to put the whole assembly together, I'm likely going to end frustrated because I haven't given myself the time to get to know the fine details of a mechanism that actually functions. Good. Next up, we will talk about exporting these models from Fusion so that we can actually 3D print them, so that you can actually get your hands busy assembling this clock.